Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Brian.
Welcome back, Brian.
Brian is here for such an important movie.
It feels so good just hearing it. I'm Brian. I haven't heard that in so long. I missed it.
I know, it sounds great. Oh, Brian.
It's perfect.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah, he does.
We want you to come back.
She says you have a face for radio.
Yeah.
A beautiful face.
Why don't you tell us what we're discussing this week?
Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah, awesome. This is where Brian would add like special effects and sound effects.
Beep, bop, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. I was at Brian's house on Saturday for Easter, and I asked him, what could we possibly do to get you back on the podcast? He's like, well, if you're going to do Johnny Dangerously, I'd come back on. I'm like, we had a different Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah.
We had a different movie lined up for this week, actually.
Oh.
I mean, Jason.
And he texted me and said, Brian will come on if we do Johnny Dangerously. I said, I'm down for Thursday.
Jason had this grand plan of like glomming onto Ghostbusters, Frozen, whatever the fuck, and we're going to do the original Ghostbusters. And then Brian said, we're doing this movie, and here we are.
I love this movie.
Doing Johnny Dangerously.
Great choice, because I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah, me too.
Rated PG-13 with only a running time of 90 minutes. So
That's a
Not my house.
That's a
Not
generous
my house.
time.
It was 45 minutes. Double speed.
She did this in your old
you
school
did
way.
the old double speed.
Yeah.
Theatrical release date was December 21st of 1984, so a nice Christmas movie. And directed by Amy Heckerling.
I saw
love
that.
She's
I
done
was
some of my favorite
so surprised.
movies.
Me
It's
too.
Fast Times.
Clueless.
Yeah.
Clueless.
Fast Times.
She
you just
definitely
mentioned.
came a long
Look
way
Who's Talking.
from this. Yeah.
European Vacation?
Look Who's Talking was better.
She did 6 episodes of Red Oaks.
Did she
What
really?
is Red
Wow.
Oaks?
That was
I only
the
watched the first season of
Yeah, I
it.
did too.
Amazon show?
Yeah, that was with
Oh, I
Eugene
watched that.
Levy and
Were they? Did they?
Richard Kind was in it, right?
Paul
Yeah.
Reiser. Paul Reiser was
Yeah.
the dick on the thing. Yeah,
Was
yeah, yeah.
Adam Scott in that?
No, that was After Hours, After Party.
Wait, Griffin
Yeah.
Dunn After Hours?
No, not that one.
They were like
Party Down.
caterers.
Party Down, Party Down.
Wait,
yes,
Griffin
Party
Dunn
Down.
from Johnny
okay.
Dangerously? He's going to be a chiller.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'd like
I
a
could
Johnny
meet him.
Dangerously poster signed by him.
That'd be cool down here, right? It's not our first Amy Heckerling movie because we did Fast Times. So
I'll do Clueless soon.
that's not till the 90s.
95.
Yeah, really? Is it that
Yeah.
far away? Jesus
Yes, it
Christ.
is.
When's European Vacation?
We can pre-record it.
I'd love to do Clueless next week. That's one of my favorite
we can
movies.
choose the.
I wouldn't need to watch it. It's one of those
Really?
movies.
That-
Yeah.
you're that good
Oh,
with it,
I've
yeah.
seen it 100
I
times.
did not need to watch this movie that we're doing, and
Yeah.
Clueless is another one I would not need to watch. And actually, Fast Times, I didn't need to watch
Yeah.
Fast Times either.
Yeah.
There's definitely some I could have not like. I didn't watch A Christmas Story when we did that one.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it when we did the podcast.
No.
I knew it too much, and I was like,
Yeah.
"There's no way I need to watch
I
it
mean,
now."
I'd still watch it just because I love Clueless so much. I'd watch it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I
Well,
haven't seen Clueless in a while, so that would be a fun one
Yeah.
to watch.
Last night, I got home, and you guys were texting each other, where is it, where is it, where is it? I'm like, oh, I got to get my Fire Stick, and I couldn't get it going. And I'm like,
Just last month, it was playing in Max.
I was like, I think
Yeah,
I can go
I
into
I
thought
looked
this.
it up.
I thought I saw it somewhere.
It was playing on Max.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is great." We'll
They
do
must have
Johnny
got it. It
Dangerously
must have been
and
in April 1st, and
that's
it was
exactly
gone.
what happened. Because he said,
Yeah.
what happened?" I said, "April 1st happened, and it went off."
Yeah.
I was like, I can't watch this movie because I can't find it on any of my services. And because of what's going on in my house right now, mother-in-law, nephew, all that nonsense, I was like, God damn, the one thing that I know I can get it on is upstairs.
Yeah.
And I was down here, and then they all went to bed at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I am racing upstairs and watching John.
We hadn't heard from him. I was wondering if he was watching the movie.
Yeah.
I was really going to go into this not watching it, not needing to, because I've seen Johnny Dangerously, no jokes, 60 times, 70
Yeah.
times, and I was very confident.
In the theater.
Very confident I could sit down and talk about this movie without watching it again, but I'm
Yeah.
so glad I watched it again last night. I was like, as I'm watching, I'm like, God damn, I love Johnny Dangerously so much.
I can't believe how many lines I remember.
I remembered
haven't
a
seen
lot,
it
too,
in
yeah.
25 years.
Oh my gosh.
Same here. I hadn't watched it in so long, and I'm like, I'm reciting the line before it came on. I was like, "Oh, how do I know this?"
And so when the scrubber lady says $17,000, and then when Ma Kelly goes to her, my buddy and I have been texting each other and saying to each other for 30 years, 40 years, 17,500, and it's 19,500. I'm like, how have I been getting that wrong for all these years?
All right, let me give you IMDb description. Set in the 1930s, an honest, good-hearted man is forced to turn to a life of crime to finance his neurotic mother's skyrocketing medical bills.
Pancreas it was only for $49.95.
Just for that week. It was a special just for that week.
Yeah,
though.
maybe because he was punching her all the time.
I'll tell you, I knew Dana was going to hate this movie when the 1935
and he
came up
crashed into
and
it?
the car
Oh, God.
drove through, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Dana's not going to like
We
this."
can talk about how the movie started with a nice song.
Oh
Yeah,
my
the
God,
Weird Al song.
Weird Al. And I'll tell you right now, I know at one point that song was not in this movie. Like when it was on TV or something like that, they don't have the rights to it. It was like "Ain't Misbehaving" or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Just like when you watch Wayne's World right
Yeah.
now, and he goes to play "Stairway to Heaven," and
He
the
plays
guy's
it's
like, "No
something
stairway,"
else, yeah.
and it's just like, "Boom, boom, boom," and the guy's like, "No stairway," and you're like,
That's the problem. WKRP.
That
had
was not
problem.
Stairway, but they only got the rights to play that in the theaters. So
Yeah.
there was a time when Weird Al's song was not at the beginning of this movie, because I've seen this movie where I'm just like, I kind of thought Weird Al did this song and he's not doing it, but
Yep. WKRP had that problem on when they were trying to come on, like when they were trying to sell the DVDs.
Oh, with the music that they played on the radio and stuff
they
like
played
that.
a lot of music on that show. you know.
and so did Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and
Same
Butthead-
with that 70s show had that problem because they had a lot of music on
Oh,
there.
really?
yeah.
Beavis and Butthead released DVDs with none of the parts where they talked about the videos.
The worst
just
part
because they
is-
couldn't get the rights to them. I'm
really?
like, that was the best part.
Yeah.
Stupid
MTV's
episodes.
The State. They released their DVDs, and I love The State.
Me
and
too.
I got
Yeah,
it.
The
State
state
was
is
awesome.
great.
All the music's not in there because they couldn't get the
Really?
rights to the music. So it's all different music. Like the scene in the library where they say, "Why don't you get some pants?" and the Breeders song starts playing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a different song now. So it's like,
Ah.
oh man, you know, it's that
That's
Breeders
so-
song really made that up because
Yeah.
he's standing there in his underwear like,
I just saw Kiss sold their entire, not just music, but likeness and everything.
catalog? Oh, yeah, so
everything,
anybody- yeah.
everything
How much?
for $300 million. I was like, that seems low
It does.
for all of Kiss.
Who do
but
you sell it? Like, who did they
to
sell it to?
It's like a production company.
corporation
Probably,
that's
yeah,
gonna
corporation, yeah.
like monetize that. But
Wow.
They'll do commercials, probably
Yep.
make money that way. They'll
Wow.
do all different things.
Elevators.
I mean,
What
a
did
lot
you
of
say?
guys,
Yeah.
Elevators?
a lot of guys have done that recently. I mean, Dylan did it, and Neil Young.
A lot of these guys are doing that.
Wow.
And they're making like that kind of money. Couple
because they
hundred
just
million.
get
Yeah.
a big payout. They don't have to worry about like for their kids. It's
Yeah.
the kids aren't going to have to take care of it. It's just like, here's a bunch of money, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's better. It's better that way.
I got a couple of taglines here. Organized crime has never been this disorganized. And wanted Michael Keaton for being wacky, outrageous, and rude in the new hit comedy.
That's kind of weak.
I don't think he was rude.
And let's get into Michael Keaton as Johnny Dangerously. This is not our. Is it our first?
No.
Michael Keaton? No, we did
that was
Night
Mr.
Shift
Mom.
and Night Shift.
And Night Shift. Damn, I forgot about that. Yes, indeed.
This is two Mr.
Were
Mom
you on for Night Shift?
people
You
movies
weren't
in
on
a
for
row.
Night Shift. You were on for Night Shift, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
He was still
I love
here
that
for
movie.
Night Shift. He wasn't on for Night Shift. He was still here for Night
You
Shift.
still
Mr.
remember.
Mom, too.
Yeah.
You were
Mr.
for
Mom.
Mr. Mom too. Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
So we don't need to do his top four, but it was Birdman,
love that movie.
Spotlight,
What's the full title?
Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
There you go.
Man, that's a movie that everybody hates and I love. I don't know why I,
I liked
love
it.
that.
I saw
Yeah.
it once,
I never
and I
saw
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I never
Brady
saw that.
loves that.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was a great movie. And I remember talking to Michelle
Yeah, so
and my mom
it's
about it. They were
shot,
like,
One
one shot,
shot,
right?
yeah.
The Founder and Batman are the other two.
Founder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Playing Danny Verman, Joe Piscopo.
This has got to be our first Joe Piscopo.
It's definitely our first
And
Joe
it's probably
Piscopo.
our last Joe Piscopo.
I don't know. He's in Wise Guys.
Oh, yeah, that was a good movie. I like that one. Yeah, with Danny DeVito?
Yeah, I believe that's Danny
He's the other
DeVito. Yeah.
wise guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the reason that Goodfellas
Did you see
was
that
called
one?
Wise Guys.
I must have seen that one.
Yeah.
But the book that Goodfellas is based on is called Wise Guys, and the reason they couldn't call it Wise Guys is because
'cause that movie was
of
out.
the Joe Pesci movie Wise Guys.
Joe Piscopo movie.
What did I say?
You
Joe
just said
Pesci?
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, sorry. Joe Pesci was in,
Joe Pesci started
Joe Pesci was in the other
Goodfellas
one.
and
Speaking of Joe Pesci, we call Gizmo now Pesci because when everybody takes him out for a walk, and when I say everybody, I'm trying to say like not me, but Gizmo is this little tiny thing, and he barks at everybody and thinks he's a tough guy. And Daniel was like, this little tough guy thing. He's so tough. He's like, and they're like, you're Pesci, man. You think you're so tough in this little thing.
can you tell me how many SNL episodes Joe Piscopo was on?
I want to say it was on for like 4 seasons, so I'm going to say 100?
I was going to say, I'll say
101?
101.
I'm going to say 75.
68 episodes
Oh, we got
from
lost.
1980 to 1984 is when he was on.
He was on for. I thought he was on for longer. Okay.
Yeah, so SNL was in his top 4. Johnny Dangerously, Dead Heat. I don't think I remember that one. Dead Heat.
I don't know that one.
And Wise Guys.
I'll tell you, Joe Piscopo. Fuck. Joe Piscopo was one of those guys. All growing up, like, what happened to Joe Piscopo? Like, because I remember
From New Jersey.
but everybody was like, what happened to that guy? Because he was in Johnny Dangerously and Wise Guys and Saturday Night Live, and then
Nothing.
just disappeared, and then he became a gigantic bodybuilder guy. And,
Yeah, he's got.
Oh, really?
And he
yeah.
boxes.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
He used to box a little bit too, I believe.
In the days
But,
before like YouTube, he would just like, I don't know how they post
he's
pictures back
he's
then. It
buff.
was just-
Like he's big. In his later years, he was a much bigger, muscular
Really?
guy than he was in this movie.
Does
was a
he
lot-
act anymore?
no,
I don't know
think
if
he
he's
does
in
anything.
anything recently. To be honest with you, yeah,
Like Carrot Top.
Oh,
yeah,
but,
he's
Yeah,
ripped
kind
kind of
too,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
but he also got his whole, like,
He's got a
face
weird
done.
face.
He looks
yeah.
crazy.
I saw him
Yeah.
in Atlantic City, and he puts on a good show. I was actually going there thinking I was going to shit on it and everything. We had free tickets, but his show is like dirty too. He's curses and he's got like adult themes in his.
Is it not
in his
all
act.
props? Is it like
It's a lot of
stand-up
props and he
too?
talks and he's got
Yeah.
some videos and stuff, but he talks a lot too. But he's dirty, yeah. I honestly thought it was like a kid friendly show.
If I
Yeah.
got free tickets, I'd go see him. But
Yeah.
if you asked me for $1, I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah,
But
it was
that's
free.
okay.
It was free. My cousin Mike won him from
Oh,
his
Mike,
work.
okay.
Yeah. Playing Lil Sheridan was Mary Lou Henner. Fun fact about Mary Lou Henner: she has that. It's not really a disease
she's got like
or anything.
eidetic memory.
Yeah, but if you give her a date, she can tell you exactly what day was of the week.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
she's-
and
she's like
what
Mensa
and
and
what
stuff.
she was
She's in
doing.
Mensa.
What she was doing that day. She can tell you exactly. Oh, I took a shower that morning and then I went and did the Taxi. I was filming Taxi. And I'm like, she
I don't know
knows
how
everything that she did.
How can your brain hold all that information? Because you would think that the only reason you can get up the next day and do something is because you forgot about 90% of the stuff you did the day before. And if you're
Yeah.
remembering everything from every day,
Like her mind.
Wouldn't that drive you
I would think your
crazy?
mind must be constantly moving and going.
Also, I
It's
think
super
you'd
indexed.
have any job you wanted to be extremely smart, because if you read some, like,
You remember it.
you remember it,
Yep.
right? Like, how could you not be the most successful person in the world? Like,
So you're saying Mary Lou Henner should have been a little
she
more famous
should,
than
yeah,
she should have been.
She
And
could
then
have
she
been,
was, I mean.
yeah,
yeah,
she could
why
have done like
why
rocket
did
science.
she
Yeah.
develop a cure for cancer? Like she just was on Taxi.
Well,
like
but she
okay,
didn't
great,
read
but so was
She
like
can't, I
You
don't know,
can't
she
read
can't
the
really
cure.
find it.
Yeah.
Nicky was on Taxi too, and he didn't do shit. He did
Yeah,
grease,
but
and
if you
that's
asked
it.
Nicky what he did yesterday, he probably couldn't tell you.
He said I did a lot of blow, and now I'm dead.
He had like back problems and everything, got hooked on pills and everything.
I had back problems, man. I made it to 53. All right, he did not.
I think Nicky went the wrong way. He went and got he did pills and that. Believe me, I've been there.
Yeah, you've been there too.
Do you want to try Mary Lou's top 4?
I mean,
Taxi.
yeah,
Taxi,
that's
yes.
kind of like all I know her from.
L.A. Story.
Oh, with Steve Martin. And,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
And-
Young Frankenstein, right?
No, that's
Oh, no, that's
Madeline Kahn or
Yeah.
Terry Garr.
Terry Garr.
Yeah.
Confusing.
Last week, Terry Garr.
Yeah.
She was in that. Yeah.
Firstborn. Yeah. We did her.
Noises Off. I don't know that. And Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah, I like her, but I was kind of like, as I'm watching her, I'm like, I hate to be like this, but is she hot enough to play that role? Like,
Yeah, I thought she
she's
was
not
really pretty.
she's not unattractive in any way.
I
but
thought
it's
she
like,
looked really good. in
Yeah, I
this.
think she's super
Right?
pretty.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's-
liked her.
I think
Yeah.
I'm jaded by the fact that I know she's like super duper smart, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like,
Yeah,
I would
you
feel
hate
very,
that.
I'd feel very
Women
inferior
should not
to
be
No, I'm
smart.
asking her about all kinds of dates.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything.
I'd be like, so 1984.
I would always be, every time I went into the room when she was in there, I'd say something a day to her.
Our buddy, friend of the show, Dan Fernandez, his
No, he's not a friend of the show
Very-
until he's been on the
Okay.
show. Oh, he's been on.
He
All
is
right,
good
he's
on
been
it.
on. All right.
But
Yeah.
his ex girlfriend from college, she was not like that, Mary Lou Henner, but she had the very crazy way of being able to say like, all right, July 3rd, 1973. She'd be like, Tuesday. And you're like, what? Like, how do you, like, how do you, and she could just like that.
My
that.
cousin Mike, he could, if you name somebody in our family, and we have a huge family, he can tell you their birthday.
Oh, Okay.
And it's like he'll get like second cousin's birthday and everything like
Wow.
that. I'm like, I don't even know that kid's name.
I was gonna say, I don't know the people that live in this house. I don't know their birthdays half the time.
Sometimes there's these like your second cousins have kids and they're running around like, who the hell are these people?
I felt that way at your house this weekend, Brian. When I was there, I'm like,
Me too.
I've met his family, and I'm like, I don't know who half the people that are running around this place are. But then I got explained to who most of them were, and I'm like, oh, they're like exchange students and like all sorts of random.
Oh,
like,
was your
fifth
brother in
cousins.
town?
Yeah.
He was. I actually said to him when I said, I'm like, Jim, I'm like, how you doing, man? How's Virginia going? He's like, great. I'm like, I heard you upgraded from teenage girls to teenage boys. He's like, yes, that's right. I'm like, well, if you need any advice on teenage boys and disposals of bodies, you have the expert on that. Living right here, Brian. Dispose of those bodies, the teenage boy bodies.
I've never disposed of a teenage
I
boy
know,
body.
you don't dispose
They
of
were
them.
all adults.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he just keeps them around, they're not disposed of. Those kids were really nice guys.
They were good
One was
kids,
Egyptian,
yeah.
one was Turkish, and it's amazing how kind of Western they were. They knew all sorts of references, and they're young, 18 and 17, and they were hanging out and
Oh, yeah.
talking the whole time.
That's
I was
nice,
impressed
yeah.
by them.
And fasting.
And, oh yeah,
Ramadan?
Ramadan was
Yeah.
going on. So they
Wow.
were fasting. Everybody was like counting down the clock. Like 7:23 comes in 42 minutes, and they're sitting there like, I haven't eaten in a day. Fuck you.
Maureen Stapleton played Ma Kelly.
She was great.
She was really good in this. You remember her from Cocoon, probably, right?
Well, I was gonna say
Oh,
when,
shit, I haven't seen that in so long.
when I was watching this, I thought
we
to
did that in a
myself,
couple of years. Cocoon.
it's amazing that around this time I watched Don Amici in Trading Places, and then Maureen Stapleton in this movie, and then when I saw Cocoon, and they were both in that, I'm like, these old people are like in everything I'm watching now, but that's all I know by them. And they had a 50-year career before this
Yeah.
movie or those movies, and but Cocoon was kind of like, I was like, man, I'm like, why do I keep running into these old folks? And then it's just because the movies that they were in were recent, but when I said to Jason today, I'm like, the picture of Maureen Stapleton on IMDb is like from the 40s.
Yeah, it's like-
She is like 40 years younger than what you're like, all right, I could do Ma Kelly.
Playing Jocko Dundee.
Plus the fact that she was only 29 at the beginning of this movie.
Jocko Dundee. Peter Boyle.
Love him.
Not our first Peter Boyle, right? Then we have him in something?
Did we do Young Frankenstein?
Yeah.
We did do Young Frankenstein, yeah. Okay. That's in his top
And he was
four,
in,
obviously.
did we do
And
Taxi
Driver.
I was going to say, is he in
yeah.
Taxi Driver? He's in, did we do Taxi Driver? I don't
We didn't
think
do
did that
Taxi
yet.
Driver, but I remember surprising you with that, I think. Or somebody
Okay.
surprised somebody with that one, yeah.
He might have surprised me. Ooh.
Playing Tommy Kelly was Griffin Dunn, who you just asked me about yesterday when we were talking. I told you about
I
people
did?
that were coming to Chiller. I said,
Oh,
I said
okay.
Griffin Dunn, and you looked him up. You typed in Griffin Dunn.
I did.
Yeah.
And wait, he was his brother?
Tommy Kelly, yeah, he's
Oh.
the
You should have
GA.
told me that. But
I thought I was
maybe
giving. I
would've
thought I was
been
giving
like,
enough of a hint
No.
when you were looking it up. I was like, oh, she'll get it. I was like, Griffin Dunn. He's going to be in
No.
this movie. She doesn't know it. I was like,
No.
oh, yes.
Nope, I totally did not
I
catch
love
on to
Griffin
that.
Dunn. I think
American Werewolf in London and
I'm thinking about getting some
After
sign from
Hours.
After Hours. Is what I think I
Madonna.
might have signed.
Madonna movie, right? Was it?
Madonna.
Which
Which
one?
Madonna movie?
Where she was on the run.
Oh.
Oh,
Which are-
Desperately Seeking
Desperate- no.
Susan.
yeah.
Was it Desperately Seeking?
I don't know.
The one where she just got out of jail.
Who's
Yes.
Who's that girl?
Who's that girl, right?
Who's that
Who's
girl?
Yeah.
that girl? That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
that? Griffin Dunn's also in Dallas Buyers Club.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever saw that. That's
That's a really good
McConaughey
movie.
and
Yeah, I
Jared
saw
Leto.
that.
That's
But
Matt McConaughey loses all that weight. And,
No,
and he
and-
won the award for that, too, I believe.
yeah.
The guy that was in American Werewolf in London with him was also in
David Naughton?
Yeah, what did we just do him in?
Midnight Madness.
Midnight Madness, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
He's a star of that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is the main
We did
character
Midnight
in
Madness
that.
finally, Brian.
I
and
know.
it was so
I
much
still
fun.
haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
It was actually
so much
really
fun.
good. Yeah.
I loved it so much.
Me too.
Oh, I'm doing this. I forgot.
Oh, you're leading the show, man.
Yeah.
Playing Sally was Glynis O'Connor. That's who Griffin Dunn was going to marry.
Oh, okay. Well, he does marry her.
Yeah. She was in The Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Was she in the bubble?
That's the one with
she's not a
She the
boy.
girlfriend,
the one with Travolta. Yeah.
Bubble boy? The word is moops.
Playing the Pope had a really quick part. Dom DeLuise.
I'm gonna Pope. I will tell you now, in all honesty, over the last 27 years that I've known Michelle, my wife, the quote "I'm gonna Pope" has been said.
I'm gonna Pope
500 times,
From
and
the
that
state?
is a very.
That's why I know it from the state.
Hey, who's the Pope? I'm the Pope, and
I'm the
like
Pope.
we say that all the time. It's all because of Johnny Dangerously. Like the hey Pope, what's up? Whenever they talk about Pope Francis or Pope Benedict or Pope John Paul, and we're like,
You know anything
hey, Pope.
Dom DeLuise was in, Dana?
Cannonball Run.
Yeah, he was. We did that
Nice.
earlier.
Fatso.
Fatso is my favorite Dom DeLuise movie.
Tara's like, what was the commercials that he was in? Did he sell hoagie sandwiches? I was like, no, he was. I had to look it up. He was the Ziploc guy. He was always putting
okay.
his tomato sauce in Ziplocs
Yes,
and
I
showing you
remember that.
how it would
Yeah,
come out when you
yeah.
hold it upside down. Yeah.
The
Nice.
end.
That's
The
a-
end
that's a
with,
nice pull,
yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
That didn't make it, but Cannonball Run was in there. That was right. Blazing Saddles.
Oh yeah, he's the director of the movie when they crash onto the set. He has the best line in that movie, and I won't say it here, but he has the best line in that movie.
The others are Secret of Nim, N-I-M-H, and
I guess
All
it's the
Dogs
voice.
Go to Heaven.
Another
Oh,
voice.
no,
that's
that's
what
so
it is.
sad. Yeah.
Was that a sad one? I didn't think it was sad.
Wasn't that a dog?
Yes,
like
it's
a
about dogs going to heaven.
That's animated, right?
Yeah, it is animated.
I didn't know. Sorry.
Speaking of that, I just heard a thing about. Do you remember Milo and Otis?
Yes.
Do you know the scene where
somebody
they
die in that
throw?
one?
No, but do you know the scene where they throw a cat off a cliff to land in the water?
was
They
real?
were throwing cats off cliffs to land in the water, like 30 of them.
How did that come out?
They
Just came out
died.
recently? Like
Yeah,
the news?
no, apparently it was years later, but I was watching a TikTok about how animals were treated on sets in famous movies where animals were horribly treated. Some of them were really old, you know,
Yeah.
the horses in certain old movies where they would make them fall by putting wires out and they would like break their legs and stuff.
Jesus Christ, that's horrible.
Which I never saw, but when I heard about Milo and Otis and they were really throwing these cats off a cliff and sending them down river in boxes, like,
That's
oh
amazing
my
how
God.
when you talked about the breaking the horse's legs, I was heartbroken. When you talk about like killing cats in horrible ways, I'm like, fuck cats.
You're like the cats in the or the
I don't
cats
like
in the
cats.
bag and the bags in the river. That's a Tomahawk song.
Oh my God.
You were talking
Anyway.
about, as you're talking about the cats, I'm just like, yeah,
Playing
whatever. They deserved it probably because they're fucking cats.
Because they're cats, yeah.
playing Roman Troy Maroney was Richard Dimitri.
If you pull something that he did, I mean, I love him in this movie.
Yeah, I
but-
did know another movie he was in.
Oh, what's he in?
Let It Ride.
Let it ride. Let it ride.
That's a gambling movie.
It sounds like
I can't
a
think of who's in it
gambling
right now. What the hell's his name?
That's not George Burns, is it?
No, I gotta look this one up real quick.
Do you know who Maroney is in this movie?
Was he the Italian guy?
He's
Was
the
he
guy who says
Italian?
ice
Or,
hole.
or Indian?
I thought he was Swedish because he got deported.
He got
there.
deported. Yeah.
And as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, I've known so many Italians in my life.
You want to know who's in Let It
I do.
Ride? Richard Dreyfuss
Oh, okay.
and Terry Garr.
Oh, wow. Terry Garr, the patron saint of this year. I guess.
Jennifer Tilly is in there as well. Yeah.
I was watching her play poker against Daniel Negreanu the other day.
yeah?
When he was speaking Italian, or when he was speaking, I was like, I've known so many Italians in my life, and they've never spoken
No.
like this. Yet, of course, I was cackling the whole time as he was doing it, you farting ice holes.
Playing Burr was Danny DeVito. That's pretty far down in the cast, don't you think?
Well,
for
he was
Danny
only in it for a minute.
But everybody
Yeah.
was only in it for a minute,
Yeah,
really,
you're
if you
right,
think
you're
about
right,
it.
you're right.
Dom DeLuise only had that one part in the beginning.
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a few scenes, Danny DeVito.
He did. He had
Yeah.
the scene. Well, he had the scenes that we know him from. The scene
Danny
where he's-
DeVito needs to be in movies more. Remember what do we
Yeah,
do? That he
Jewel
wasn't-
of the Nile.
Jewel of the Nile. He
Yeah.
needed to be in that one more.
Romancing the Stone, but close
Romancing
enough.
the Stone.
It was,
Same-
that was the
same
sequel.
thing.
The
Didn't,
sequel.
didn't you mess up, or somebody mess up, kept calling it Jewel of the Nile?
No,
Or when we
I
when we
kept
did
calling
it?
it Top Secret.
That's something different. She
It's a real genius.
She wanted to
Top
do Real
Secret.
Genius. It was her turn to pick a movie, and she picked Top Secret.
I thought it was her
She
genius.
she hates spoof movies.
I do.
Like Johnny Dangerously.
Playing Pat was Ron Carey. He had a real quick part. I know you said
we,
you
we,
didn't
we
see
didn't
it.
Who's
do
Pat?
we didn't do Danny DeVito's top
Who's the
four.
We've
dog?
done him before already. That's why.
Have we? Oh, we're into the stone. Fuck, you
We just
said
talked
it.
about it.
I've been drinking, man. I'm sorry. You can say
his
Always
was-
Sunny or
All right,
whatever.
Matilda, War of the Roses, L.A. Confidential, and Batman Returns.
There
It's
we
not
go.
a fun
Good,
four.
good.
Matilda's a great
He could have a better
movie.
top four.
Yeah, oh, for
He
sure.
should have a better
No
top.
Taxi listed in there. Mary Lou Henner got Taxi, right?
Yeah,
That's because she
Taxi
didn't have
Driver is.
anything else.
Oh, okay.
L.A. Stories.
It's
yeah.
always sunny.
Yeah.
It should be in there.
Yeah, for sure. He's been on for like 30
Wasn't he one of the
years.
voices in Monsters Inc? The short one with the
John
big eyeball.
Goodman was, right?
Yeah, I think it wasn't it him and John Goodman. John
I don't
Goodman
know.
was
I know
the
John
big one,
Goodman
and he
was
was
on the-
No, that
Oh, no,
was
it's
Billy,
Billy
Crystal.
Crystal.
But he was
Oh,
Phil
right.
in Hercules.
Oh, okay.
Philatates.
Yes.
I thought he was a voice of something. Yeah.
We've done Ron Carey movies already, right? Or no? But in his top four is Fatso.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's
History of the World Part 1. He
History-
played Swiftest, High Anxiety. I love that
Yep.
movie. Can you tell me how many episodes of Barney Miller Ron Carey was in?
75. And no one knows who this is now because he's
No, I
not
don't.
in this movie.
He's hardly in this movie.
He's the
yeah.
doorman.
The
He's
doorman.
listed in the
That's
credits.
His only,
Oh.
yeah.
With Ray Walston, who I'm sure we're going to get to soon. But it's
Yeah.
like special appearances.
And then
I'm like,
in the credits,
where the
they-
hell, I've seen this movie 50 times. I'm like, where the hell was he in this movie?
They don't even call him doorman in his credits. Like, he's called Pat. Nobody calls him Pat in this. You know what I mean?
Oh, wait, is he the doorman that's like crawling along being like,
Yeah.
Johnny, how's your
ticket
mother
collector
doing? He's
money?
like,
Yeah.
Is that him there?
Yeah.
God, I mean, honestly, I didn't recognize
That's why it
him,
was
and
so
I
funny
know
because he
him.
kept asking for the money. He's like, "Yeah, how's that money?"
I got the joke with the tips, but I didn't realize that was who it was. Oh my God. I feel bad. I gotta watch Johnny Dangerously tonight.
up
Pick
next,
on
playing the
this.
vendor, kept getting hit in the head. Ray Walston. I love him from Popeye.
We did,
Fast Times. He was in
Fast
Fast
Times.
Times.
but we also did. He was also the guy in the
Go
private
Tina.
school. Did I do
Oh
private
shit!
school?
He was the chauffeur.
He was in the-
and he was the one having
Yes.
sex with Browbecker in the. In
Yeah.
The,
Yes.
in the, yes.
But wasn't he in something else we did
Popeye. He's in
recently? I can't remember. I feel like this is our third time seeing him. in
Wow.
something.
Well, he was in Fast Times.
Yeah,
Mr.
I didn't do
It
Fast
is our
Times, though.
third time, but maybe not you.
Oh, I
But
did do Fast Times.
oh, did you do Fast Times? Then it's the third one with you
Or
too.
did I just watch it because you were
it's
doing
awesome.
it?
No,
Because
no, I
Amy
think
Heckerling
somebody else was
directed
on
it?
for Fast Times.
Yeah, I might have just watched it to listen to the podcast.
Because you wanted to hear our voices talking about
Yeah. I couldn't. Yeah.
about Kevin Kline locking Phoebe Cates
Yeah.
down. After that movie, he's like, "No, you'll not be doing
All right,
that."
so he was in The
anymore."
Kid with the Broken Halo in 82, Fame in 82, Fast Times in 82, Fantasy Island, Private School in 83, The Jerk 2 in 84.
Oh, okay.
There's a The Jerk too.
I never even heard of
I
that.
mean-
He's
I
got,
did
he's
that.
got
Yeah.
one episode of Give Me a Break in 84
Give
also.
me a break.
The Jerk 2, it gets a 2.7 out of 10.
Wow.
I've never seen the movie, but that sounds high.
It's starring, I don't even know who these people are. Mark Blankfield, Robert Sampson.
The only person I respect for being in that movie is Ray Walston
Oh.
for just being like, "I'll take a paycheck."
I know
Yeah.
somebody else
Send
in
it my
it.
way.
Playing Mama Johnson, Mabel King.
Oh, because she's the mom in
Mama.
The Jerk. Yeah. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. All
And
right.
she's Raj's mom,
And
too.
yeah, that-
Rogers
Yep.
and Dee's mom.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So they got her back from the original The Jerk movie. Good.
That's the only
They got
thing.
that
That's
one.
the only thing. She's like, yeah, I'll sign on for the sequel.
Like, you have to do anything. Just sit there and like talk. Okay, great.
Playing Arthur was just recently passed away. Dick Butkus. Died
Yeah,
last year. He was 80. His
Who was
He was
right hand man.
Peter Boyle's character early on. He was his limo driver, and then he
Oh.
was at the bar where they had the fight with.
He was a
the
okay.
good old football player.
He was
Yeah.
in Blue Thunder. He was in
The Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout.
Any Given Sunday he was in. He was in MacGyver.
Man, he was
Would you
in
believe he was in
Given
Gremlins 2, the new batch?
Was he really?
Yes, he was in that movie.
He was one of those guys that was a football player before our time. Like he was already
Yep.
retired
Yeah.
by the time we
Yeah.
started watching football. But he was in
But he was one of
shows.
those guys that was known as one of those
Yeah, I knew
tough
him
guy
as a football
players,
player,
yeah.
but I didn't recognize his face.
Did you recognize who was the desk sergeant?
I did.
Alan Hale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alan Hale Jr. That was great. I love him.
Skipper.
With his wonderful accent.
Oh my god, that might be his real accent. I don't know. Maybe as the skipper, he was in character. But
Can you tell me how many
Good old
episodes
Houlihan.
of
Oh,
Gilligan's
boy.
Island?
All of them.
He did all of them, but can you
Yes.
tell me how
Did
many
he do
episodes?
every
That's my
episode?
answer.
Island?
Is all of
Because
them.
we were just having a conversation today about those shows where like Kramer didn't do
He did every episode,
single
yeah.
one of Seinfeld, and
God.
I'm gonna say Gilligan's Island was
don't
on
know.
for
Yeah.
5 years, and that's one of those
But they
ones
had
that probably
long
did like
seasons.
26 episodes.
Yeah.
So 130 episodes of Gilligan's Island.
157.
I'm going to go 180.
Okay. First of all, it was about 36 episodes a season.
Wow.
They were only
Wow.
on for 3 seasons.
That's it?
99 episodes.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I thought
That's
they were.
it.
Gilligan's Island was only on for 3 seasons. How come I watched it all through high school?
Yeah, me too.
Because
Every
there's
day.
99
Specials.
episodes.
Yeah.
Every day.
I mean, it was on Nick at Night forever, and
They did have a lot of specials too, yeah.
yeah. So I guess the
The
specials
Harlem
don't count. That's what I
Globetrotters
was
on
thinking.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Only
loved
3
that show
seasons.
as a
So
kid.
99 total episodes of Gilligan's Island.
Yep.
Wow.
And then you had playing Dr. Magnus was Carl Gottlieb.
Dr. Gottlieb. I don't know who that is.
I don't remember who it was in the movie, but I remember
wasn't that
Carl
just the
Gottlieb.
guy
he-
who kept telling him how much things cost for his mother?
Sure.
Yes,
That
that's
guy.
him.
Yeah.
Yep.
His fee kept going. It was like $49.99, and it was like $7,000.
He was in,
Yo, man, inflation isn't that bad even today in Joe Biden's America. But my God, come on.
He was the writer for 3 things in his top 4: Jaws 2,
Dope.
Caveman, and Dr. Detroit. So he wrote Caveman. I love that movie with starring Ringo Starr.
Ringo. And his
he
wife,
wrote it?
right?
Barbara Bach.
He was
Yeah.
in it or wrote it?
Carl wrote it. He might have been in it as well, but
Wow.
he was in The Jerk as Iron Balls McGinty.
Oh, man. Steve Martin kicks him right in the balls. He's like, you don't kick Iron Balls McGinty right in the balls.
Playing the MC. Do you know who was the MC?
The MC.
The MC.
Yeah.
Oh, of the nightclub.
Bob Eubanks.
Oh, right. Yes.
I missed that.
You didn't
I did
see
not
Bob
catch
Eubanks?
that.
Well, when you
No.
watch it at
Speed,
double
yeah.
speed,
I
you're going to
know.
miss things.
I actually only watched it at 1.5 speed, to be honest. So
Brian, you didn't watch this fast, did you?
No.
Nah, this is when he wanted to slow it down, probably.
When
Right?
I
'Cause you
found
had to
out
keep
like
it
Dana
going.
watched it
When I left the room, I
1.5.
turned it off, and
I wanted to watch this at half speed. I wanted to catch everything, drag it out. I'm good with all this.
Playing the death row inmate was Joe Flaherty.
The recently late. He just died.
He
like,
just
I couldn't
died,
believe
yeah.
it.
Oh,
I
really?
don't
Yeah.
remember him being in it. And then
That-
seeing him,
yep.
I was a little sad.
He was at Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Back
Who
to the
was he?
Future.
Jackass. When he worked for Shooter McGavin when he was
Oh,
trying to
okay.
distract him from.
Oh,
yes.
all right.
He was in Back to the Future Part 2,
Is he? Okay.
Detroit Rock City, and he was on SCTV Network.
Yes. We were talking about that yesterday when he died. I was telling Logan, I'm like, he worked with all those guys, John Candy and Catherine O'Hare and Eugene Levy and all those great SCTV guys. Rick Moranis,
I got 2 more from the cast here.
Dave Thomas.
Yeah.
Delivery Man, played by Taylor Negron.
Yes,
Love him.
I thought of you when I saw
I
him.
know he was mean to me.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, that's Brian's boy that mocked him.
I'll never forget that story. That was a great. Why don't you tell Dana that story?
We saw something with him in it recently.
Fast Times.
Oh, okay. Who was he in that?
The pizza delivery.
He's always the
Okay.
delivery guy.
Oh, jeez.
He delivered the Maroney statue that shot up the place in this movie.
Oh,
And-
right. Okay.
But Brian,
He ridiculed me. They called me gay and stuff.
Oh, I think
Me-
I heard this
Me
story.
and Christine, we made the mistake of sitting in the front, the front table at, was it Catch a Rising Star?
Was it Catch a Rising
New
Star or
Brunswick, yeah.
Stress
Yeah,
Factory?
New Brunswick.
Stress
I was in a
Factory,
hotel.
probably then,
Oh,
yeah.
that was Stress Factory. And
Hotel would have been in Princeton. That would have been Catch a Rising Star.
the Hyatt,
yeah,
the Hyatt, in
the Hyatt,
Princeton,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
Catch a Rising Star. And he mocked you.
yeah.
And he was gay. And he called you gay?
I think he wanted me.
I think he probably did.
Okay.
That's
all right.
exactly what it was.
It's very
If
possible,
you're
yeah.
gay, I guess you can call other people gay and mean as offensive,
No, I think he was trying
Like
to
if I said, dude, you're white, like, that kind of comes off as hate
It does
speech, but
sound,
I'm white.
that sound rough. It's like, wow, that's rough.
I was like,
do we have to
saying it like
edit
that, man.
I was flattered.
You weren't flattered?
I was flattered.
If he had said that to me, I'd have been like, dude, if you want to go backstage for a couple minutes, let's go.
And the last I have playing Roman Maroney's building planner was Vincent Schiavelli, that long-faced dude from.
Knock down this wall, knock down this wall, knock down this Pargan wall.
But that's the dude from Fast Times, remember? And Better Off Dead. He's like, he's got the big face. Love that guy. He's in Ghost.
You didn't mention the one guy that was in it that was, and I don't know his name. He's like Johnny Dangerously's right-hand man. He's the one that
The blonde?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
He was in. He was in.
comes in the. He's the priest at the end.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
the priest. He's driving the car, the getaway car. He's from the Police Academy movies. He's like
Yes.
one of the bad guys at the first Police Academy movie. I don't know. I saw him. I'm like, I know this guy from something. It was Police Academy, and I don't know if there was somebody else that I remember seeing in this. I probably should have written it down, but I didn't. Besides Weird Al. I actually wrote that Taylor Negron just in case you didn't see him, because why would you have seen him?
It was Jack Nance played the priest.
Jack Nance. Sounds like a mom guy. When they were living in their house in New York and their neighbors are Al Capone, Al Capone was like a mobster in Chicago. Like, what was he doing? Although it's funny because she says at one
She
point,
wants to
like,
borrow a couple bullets.
but when they're walking and they walk all the way to wherever the hell they walk to New Jersey, and she's like, "Where the hell are we?" And she's like, "And then I came to Chicago." He's like, "You're New York." I was like, because at first I was like, when she said that Chicago, I'm like, damn, I thought this took place in New York. So I guess Al Capone was also complete. Al and Cindy Capone. And it was like Legs and Donna Diamond. That all it was. Oh my god.
When Johnny discusses going legit with Lil,
What?
Going legit with Lil, they happily envision.
Why?
Christ.
Sorry. I can't do the lines.
But it's like,
You won't get that from me, Jason.
I know,
Don't worry
Dan,
about
you're
it.
great. Brian comes on and he has to show off or something. You know what I mean?
He's showing off.
He's not like this when Brian's not here.
I'm not. I thought I was kind of a jerk off all the time.
Well,
When he discusses going legit with Lil, they happily envision all the wonderful things offered by such a lifestyle. One of the benefits was the ability to say hi to a neighbor named Fred, a tip of the hat to Fred Rogers. Michael Keaton got started in the industry by working as a stagehand on
Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in 1968 when he was still living in Pittsburgh. When Rogers died in 2003, Keaton hosted the Fred Rogers America's Favorite Neighbor, a memorial program on PBS dedicated to his friend and mentor.
Damn, I had no idea that they were close like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I thought that was pretty
Good
interesting.
to know.
Yeah.
That is cool.
The beginning scene where they have the current day scene before he tells a story, where he has the little tags on the
On the
dogs
puppies.
for the shoplifting, and he's
pricing
pricing.
them.
And he's got the price cuts on the dogs. I was talking to Jason about it earlier today. I was like, man, that has to be them sitting around a writer's room. Like, how do we make this more and more ridiculous? So price gun on the dogs, like
On the
that is
fur,
great.
right on the fur, right on.
And as he's handing out the food, and he's like, "Hey, you wanted the salmon, you didn't like the salmon. I'm gonna give you." And then he's like, "I know you're gonna like this." And he keeps walking, and it gets thrown. And he's like, "Maybe not, maybe not."
And I got this little piece of information for you, Brian.
Oh.
The newspaper photo of D.A. Burr is actually a photo of Louis De Palma from Taxi, but it was also used for a character named Frank Stedman. Do you know who Frank Stedman is?
From head office.
Yes.
Oh, that's the movie. When's that come out?
That's 1985. We're doing that next year.
Nice.
Oh,
You're
finally.
At least
Oh,
you know
come
Brian's
on.
coming
Unless
back.
you're already, unless he's already on.
Unless he's back.
Yeah.
Unless he's permanently back on the show. Yeah.
You've been talking about head office for a long time.
He's been
Is that
wanting
you?
us to
You've been
watch that
talking
for
about
so
head
long,
office.
yeah.
Okay.
Love that movie.
We'd never watched it, but you look at the cast and we're like, why have we never even heard of the movie? But
Yeah.
there's so many people in that
Yeah.
that were like,
Eddie Albert is great in that movie.
but that's the one guy who's like, you'll know Eddie Albert. Remember he said, and we're like, who the hell's Eddie Albert?
Is he Green Acres? What's he from?
Green Acres.
The doctor suggests when he's telling young Tommy it's $49.99 or whatever, he's like, I don't have that kind of money. He's like, knock over a gas station. I thought it was great that the doctor is suggesting robbery as a way to pay his bills.
It says for legal reasons, the Weird Al song was left off the home video release.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they didn't have the rights to it. It's so weird how when they make these deals, they're just like, yeah, we need it for the movie. And they're like, yeah, but you didn't make
Wasn't
it for
that an original song, too?
But maybe it was like a different. Maybe he didn't work for that studio, and they just they borrowed the rights. It's like, hey, we like that song.
Yeah.
We'll do that song for the movie, and then they're like,
How,
yeah, but
how do you set price? Like, that song's about $20,000.
let's go back to like Kiss selling their catalog. Like, how is it set that all right, Detroit Rock City is going to cost you $50,000. Like, And
That's
you're
what I'm
like,
saying.
then fuck you. I'm not
You're
paying.
like, no,
I don't need that
I'll
song.
play somebody play it acoustically.
Yep.
But the movie's disappointing reception prompted director Amy Heckerling to begin writing her own movie projects instead of filming other people's stories.
Wait, this
Good
was
for her.
disappointing?
I think it didn't do well in the theater. It didn't have a big...
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I can't imagine this didn't do well. But
I can't either.
did I not say that right? I mean,
I don't know what the problem is. She's going to be shocked when she hears what Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie.
Oh, I didn't look.
Maybe it'll be on your side.
Maybe. I think you guys are underestimating my score.
no. I'm sure I am overestimating your score. I have it in the double digits. Is it
Okay,
below
yeah.
that?
No.
Okay, so
No.
maybe I haven't underestimated it, but one of my favorite parts of this movie is how the New York Gazette was updating us on the mob activity in the headlines. They're like, shit, man, I forget Peter Boyle's name.
Jocko Dundee.
Jocko Dundee steps down. Johnny Dangerously takes over.
Yeah.
Like they're releasing press releases
That's
to all the
ridiculous, yeah.
papers and stuff like that. But there was always the updates of the mob activity. I was like,
I was trying to
are
read
they
the other
really
things.
juiced in like that?
The other little article.
Oh,
I always
yeah.
try to see if there's anything in there.
Like an airplane where it's like boys locked in the fridge eats foot or whatever it was. Oh my god.
It said the film producers learned that Danny DeVito might not make his shooting dates because he was still shooting Romancing the Stone in Mexico.
Previous
He barely
episode.
made it to the set in time, it said. So that's pretty interesting.
I wonder what they would have done if they couldn't have got him.
Just get some other midget.
Little person.
Peter Dinklage wasn't around then.
Get the girl from Poltergeist and just make her a mob
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Oh, Tangina.
I gotta be honest, I did not take a lot of notes in this movie because as I'm watching, I was giggling the whole time
I
watching
laughed
it.
really hard for some reason when Ma Kelly wrote on the cast.
In case they move him, she says. Of course, one of the most famous and iconic scenes in this movie is, and I was saying earlier today, I figured to get Brian back on this podcast, we had to do a movie where there were like a lot of boobs in it. But I didn't realize it was going to have to be a movie with a lot of big testicles in it. And that
my
scene
God.
where those guys, when they do the whole, like, what not to do kind of movie, with the guys walking with the walkers with the balls above their chins and stuff. Oh my God.
That was a great video.
And I remember watching
I learned
this in
a
the
lot.
theater in 1984 and be like, can that happen? I'm like, I would have to worry.
Tommy believed it.
Yes, he did.
The gum that Johnny keeps in his cigarette case is a clove gum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That sounds nasty. I never liked that kind of gum.
Michelle was making the ham the other day for Easter, and she's like putting the cloves in, and I'm like, what do those taste like? And I spelled them like almost like cinnamon, but not quite cinnamon. I was like,
It's very
Whatever.
strong flavor.
Yeah.
it's very strong.
It was nice to see Danny DeVito and Mary Lou Henner, even though they didn't have any scenes together, taxi stars. But I didn't take a lot of notes either, Andy. I know you were just saying that.
One of my favorite scenes, again, in this, I keep saying one of my favorite scenes, when the setup to kill Danny DeVito, and he gives him the red smoker jacket. He's like, I got to take a call, or he gets up. Danny DeVito's scream when the bullet comes out.
Andy's drunk.
Oh my God.
He's drunk on Brian. This has only happened a couple times on the podcast where he
His
loses it.
scream when that bull comes running at him is awesome. And then, of course,
And he's holding the jacket.
And it says, what's the Burr killed by commercial? Because I guess it was like a Colt 45.
Yeah, it was old malt
Schlitz.
liquor commercial.
Schlitz, yeah. Oh my God.
Malt liquor.
When he started screaming, I was like, I'm going to lose it. And I lost it again today.
There was 4 screenwriters for this movie, but 2 of them previously created a TV show in 1978. That TV show?
Taxi?
Different Strokes.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff Harris and Bernie Kukoff. They created Different Strokes.
Nice.
They couldn't get any of that cast to be in this movie. They couldn't get Mr. Drummond to be
It was
Peter
84,
Boyle.
yeah. I mean, they could have got him all in it, right? I mean, maybe not Dana played a...
In 84, they still could have gotten her on it. But
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
she wouldn't have.
possible, yeah.
I liked how Maureen Stapleton, she nailed her line.
Hell
She was
yeah.
great. She was so good in this, yeah.
Yeah,
And she's one of those people that
boom, ba boom, ba boom.
where you're like, this old woman in 1984 was probably like, I'm not doing that, but she threw herself into it.
All the punches that he threw in her.
I'm gonna knock him on his ass, and you're going to hump your brains out.
I like when she said she goes both ways. I thought that was hysterical.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I don't have any more notes. Do you guys have anything else you want to share with this movie?
I don't think I have anything
I didn't
else.
write anything down.
Wow.
You wrote nothing else down?
No.
I was laying in bed when I watched it.
I just had I was quoting it. And just,
The only other thing I wrote down was I loved when Tommy's car was driving out of control and the radio speed was increasing as his car speed was going down. I'm sure that's something I remembered when I saw it a million years ago, but as it was happening, I was like, is the radio going faster? And I'm like, oh, it is. I'm like, good. I like that.
do we want to get into scores or?
I mean, I don't know who I want to go first because I feel like...
Should we let Dana go first?
Nah, because that's going to ruin it. Brian, I want you to go first.
I'll go first. I'm going to give it a 92.
Nice. Any reason why?
Because it's better than a 90.
Okay.
Okay.
It's funny you should say that because I'm going to give this movie a 90. This is one of my all-time favorite comedies. Like, this is a movie I can watch again tonight. I'll watch it again and love it
I
again.
probably will.
Yeah. I saw this in the theater back in the day, and I remember back then loving it.
I'm up there right with you guys. I'm at 85%
Nice.
though. I love this movie as well. Really, really good movie. I would love to watch it again tonight even. So, yeah.
I almost wonder.
I love Griffin Dunn, too.
Do I not have a sense of humor?
I think sometimes you don't.
I wonder that, too.
But you have some kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
You like things that
I'll
are
tell you
funny.
what, she's got a sense of humiliation. Who is it?
It sounds like Burgess Meredith.
Robin Williams, Popeye is what I was
Oh,
thinking.
okay.
He's got a sense of
Like,
humiliation.
I was trying to think earlier, like, what do I think is funny?
But you like funny movies. You like
I
things
do.
like
You don't like
Clueless
slapstick.
and
Yeah.
You
stuff
don't like
that.
slapstick.
No,
you don't like
I think
you don't
that's
like
it.
the
We're
Three
of the age where
Stooges.
this movie defined art.
Yeah.
comedy,
But
you
she doesn't
know.
like the Three Stooges, stuff like that, right?
You don't like
No.
you don't like parody movies too. That's very clear. You don't like Airplane and Naked Gun and Top Secret. Like you definitely don't like those kinds of movies.
Did you
Yeah.
like Spaceballs?
Yes, I love Space. But
Wow.
the thing about Spaceballs, I saw it as a kid, having never seen.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah. But now
Which
you've
makes
seen Star
less sense. You should have liked it more because
I
you saw
know.
Now
Star
you've
Wars.
seen Star Wars.
Now, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of Star Wars, so I knew who they were mimicking and who they're,
you
whatever.
get a lot more jokes now.
But I didn't get as many jokes, yeah. And as watching it, I think it was like 10 years ago, I rewatched them all. I think you gave me a DVD or something, or a
Possibly,
stream.
yeah.
But, then
10
it was
years
like,
ago, you didn't watch them all.
that's
You
why
watched some
those
of them.
little things in the desert were going ding, 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 ding. I didn't know what they were doing that. I just thought it was funny. And then I watched it, I'm like, oh, those are the little ding dings.
How about when they comb the desert?
And then they come in the desert, yeah.
Being fat shit.
Yeah. I did really like that, and I still like it now, and I think it's, again, because I saw it as a kid. So
Yeah.
if I don't see something
You didn't
as a
see
kid...
this as a kid. You
No.
didn't notice
and
maybe.
as an adult, I like Baskets. I thought was really, really funny,
But that's dark.
but that's dark, yeah. So I guess maybe
Did
that's
you
what I
watch
like.
Baskets? That show was so good.
The Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw the first episode.
Yeah.
But that's all that was out when I
Is that Louis Anderson as his
Louis Anderson's
His mom.
Yeah. He
But
was great.
no,
in
like,
it.
didn't
he won awards
Other
for
than
that. He
wearing
won
like a
Emmys for that.
muumuu, he did nothing to change his appearance.
Yeah, he was the same
He was
face.
just
He
the
put on some
same-
makeup.
Put his little blush and just wore like muumuus, like big, and that's
His
it.
hair was the
no
same,
hair,
yeah.
nothing.
I always wonder about how do you cast him? You're like, Louis, we want you to play the
And he
mom.
talk,
Like,
but he would
what?
talk like this. Normally,
Yeah,
if
he
he was
did.
talking normal, he would be.
Oh wait, we didn't get your score.
Oh,
No,
I'm beating
okay,
breath.
so I went to look for it, as you know, I couldn't find it anywhere streaming.
Oh yeah, here's our story.
So then I had to go to Netflix, and I found it on
Easy.
there.
We don't need too many people knowing
Okay.
that.
I found it on Netflix, and I had to stream it, mirror it from Tara's iPad to the TV, which is how we've been watching stuff on there.
I'm already out. I don't even know what you're
Oh,
talking
it's super
about.
easy, and it
That was
actually
really easy to
it
mirror,
really it
yeah.
goes really easily. It's really good. It doesn't drain the battery, so that's how we do a lot of stuff. And but like, so this is how big a screen is, and this little tiny box kept popping up in the middle, and the X
And this was on your iPad?
on the iPad, and the X for it was so small that you needed a needle to hit the X. Otherwise, you're hitting the ad.
And
It's
it's
taking
going
you
to
to a porn
another
site,
window, yep.
straight to a porn site every goddamn
hang on
time.
now.
So I had to go back, and it kept going. Oh my god!
After like 5 minutes, you're like, all right, I gotta go back to the
Yeah,
movie.
finally Tara's like, is this going to show my history? I'm like, probably. Because it was like if you want to see me naked, text me this number, but don't tell anybody who I am. I'm like,
Wait,
oh my God. It
do you
kept
have that
popping
number?
up.
Yeah, like,
I
don't
did
understand the
take a
problem.
screenshot. And I was like, well, I want this to stop. So I was
Was
like,
she hot?
listen, it kept popping up, and I was like,
Was
oh
it
my
the same
God.
girl every time popping
Yeah,
up?
no, the picture was different
Was
every
she popping
time.
up? Could you hear it too? Like, was it?
No,
was there,
and
like-
when I tried to exit it, that's when it would go, and it was like a pop up as if it was a text message you were getting.
I'm still
So
trying to wrap my
that's
head
what
around
it
the
was
fact
like.
that you were watching Johnny Dangerously with porn, and somehow this was not
Yeah.
100 for you.
Oh my God.
I don't get it.
So then finally I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's really annoying because it kept, and then when it takes you to the other page and you try to hit the back button, it's not letting you go back right away.
But now I watched it on Netflix as well, and
Yeah.
I had no issues.
Well,
I've never even had a pop up.
then
on
I
Netflix.
went to my phone and nothing was on it. It was
That's
totally
weird.
fine.
Yeah.
So that's why Tyra didn't watch it with
Your
me.
phone's an iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, because your tablet's not an.
It's an iPad.
Oh, it's an iPad?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like,
So
there's
you know
kind
how-
of pop ups like that.
Because
I don't know if
sometimes
it
I
was
see
the
that-
server, because you know how you can pick different servers that you're on. So maybe I was on like a, I don't know.
I always keep
whatever.
the first server usually.
Yeah, that's what I did too. But and then it kept like glitching, and I was like, whatever. And Tara was like, "This is awful."
Yeah,
the
I
first
didn't-
5
I
minutes,
had-
she didn't want to watch it either.
Sometimes you'll have that
So-
glitch where it'll pause, but I didn't have that at
Yeah,
all. Really,
yeah.
a couple times it did that, but it went right back into it.
Yeah, I think she was really happy when I was like, "I'll just watch it on my phone." She was
All
like,
our
"Okay."
listeners are sitting here going like, what is Dana's score?
My score, because then I watched it in 1.5 speed because I was like,
Yeah, because you
I've
missed
already
Bob
wasted.
Eubanks' cameo.
I totally did.
you should
was my
rewatch
score.
it just to get that.
I gave it a 37.
Oh,
That's disrespectful to Brian.
wow.
I'm sorry, Brian.
That's
I'm sorry.
You want to know what Rotten Tomatoes gives it? The
Tell me it's a
audience,
37.
the audience gives it an 88%.
Okay, great.
The critics give it a 95.
Nice.
Oh my
The
god.
critics give it a 95.
The critics are just people who rate on there
This
enough
is now
times.
on Netflix, by the way.
I know. I paid for it. Now it's on Netflix.
Wow, 95 from the critics.
Right?
That seems
That's
high,
for them.
Well, a lot of times critics are wrong.
They're usually lower than the audience, though.
Depending. Sometimes it's the reverse.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I find I don't agree with the critics. I'm usually with the audience on the scores of, different things, not in
You
this
weren't
one.
this one, yeah.
No.
37 seems really...
I would like to look at it and see the people who gave it bad scores and see what they have to say so I can...
I would like to watch this movie with her and see how she reacts.
Yeah.
Like, I would watch it with her, you know what
There's
I mean?
a lot
Have a camera
Can
on
we
her
watch
face.
Airplane with you? Can we
you
do
know,
And she's like sitting there going,
Right?
that would be
fun to watch.
torture.
And you're like-
Airplane or
and you're
Naked
going,
Gun or
that's funny. That's funny. Why'd you laugh for? Why'd you laugh
I feel like you get it. You get it. Yeah, I get it.
You know I did
You know
that.
what's not going to make it funny anymore is because you guys constantly quote it. And so now when I hear it,
So
I'm
I'm
like,
telling you,
oh
John,
my
I- it's
fair to blame
God.
us.
I've been quoting
It's not fair
Johnny
to blame
Dangerously
us.
for
I
4
know.
years.
Yeah.
I don't, well... I
Johnny
didn't
Dangerously
recognize it
is one of
anymore.
those movies that I have been quoting for forever.
But it's not even like you quoted it a lot. Dana can't say the last time she heard you quote this.
No.
Besides before we
But
watched
when you
it.
quote an airplane, I'm like, oh, it's an airplane quote. So funny.
Yeah, maybe not quoted as much as Airplane or
Yeah.
Naked Gun, but it's up there.
When I got to meet Robert Hayes, do you know how nice that was? I was like, I'm in the presence of this guy.
Striker,
Yeah.
striker, 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 striker.
I told him I said I was nervous first time. I was like, no, I get nervous all the time.
I remember Rob.
Do you think he has to deal with it? He should just open with that. He's like, "You nervous?"
I did it. I opened with that when I talked to him. I said, he's like, what? I was like, I'm quoting the line. I was like, stop.
I really think hearing mostly men quote this movie for my entire life over and over again.
I've been hearing men quote this movie.
That's not a reason to hate a movie.
because women don't
Hurt.
quote it.
Who hurt
Because
you?
women don't have senses of humor, all
I
right?
certainly do
Except
not.
for Amy Heckerling.
Who hurt you?
See, I don't know. But holy shit, if I hear one more quote, or if I hear one more person saying, don't call me Shirley. Okay.
That's
Shut
my sister's
up.
name.
Oh, she probably hates it too. She probably hates hearing that.
Jason
Well, she
hates
hates
her,
me.
so.
So.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll try to be more funny. I'll get drunk or stoned or
Oh
something.
my god! I hope we do. Are we
You
going
can
to do
do this.
Ghostbusters next week? I want to hear your
Oh, I love that movie.
laughing Ghostbusters.
Oh, I
my!
love Ghostbusters.
You wanna come on for
But I
Ghostbusters
don't think
next
that's
week?
laugh out loud
Brady,
funny.
he
Is Brady
really
coming over?
wants
Yeah,
to
that's
go
right.
on
Yeah,
for
Brady's
that.
coming.
That's right, yeah.
I-
We needed to have Brian back on before we had another
Well, as soon as
outing.
Brian said he wanted to do this movie, I'm like, we are doing it now.
yeah,
We're
so
can we
you, can't, so you don't have time to
everything.
back out.
Can
Yeah.
we get you on for something for horror this year too?
Yeah, what horror movies
Chud.
are out there?
How about
Cannibalistic human underground dwellers.
he knows it. How about Toxic Avenger? We're doing this year.
The Toxic Avenger. I've never seen it.
Is Nightmare on
me
Elm Street
either.
this year? Nightmare on Elm Street this year?
I think
Nightmare on
so.
Elm Street's this year. Yeah, the
Friday
first
the
one.
13th.
Oh, the
I just watched that
Or
recently.
the final chapter, the best.
Children of the
from-
Corn is
Children
this
of the
year. I
Corn
watched
is
that
this year,
recently
Our
too.
Halloween's
Malachi.
heavy. We
Yeah.
have to start our
Oh, yeah.
Halloween movies now.
Yeah.
We're gonna do 2 a week for the whatever. Yeah. So
Brian
we got-
doesn't want to produce that 2 a week. He didn't like doing 1 a month.
Well, that's what we're saying. He's got the producing under. So
If
you
you've heard the quality of our show, it's I recorded it, I go upstairs, I download it, and that's all I do.
we'd like to have you on more
They're
often.
like, oh my god, this sounds awful.
We'd like to have you on more often, so
Yeah.
you don't have to do anything. Just come over and watch the movie.
That's
so
true.
We
You're
want you
more-
as a guest and not a producer. If you can
Yes.
handle that. I don't know if you can handle that. You might,
our podcast needs it. Your voice is needed on here.
I
mean,
agree because
especially on a
Them
movie that
too?
Dana hates.
I've been wanting to tweak the sound here.
See, he's got the itch.
Yeah.
He got the itch. So we're gonna do Ghostbusters next week then.
Unless something crazy happens.
But
Unless
there,
like
I mean, you
Jesus
didn't have
comes
anybody
back
because I
and
know you
says,
said Paul's coming
Paul,
up soon,
it's
Dan.
late in April.
Yeah.
Paul said, "Yeah."
and Dan is when?
whenever we can get it for
Because
nerds.
I told Dan he needed to do it before the end of April.
Nerds, yes.
He has until the end of April to do it.
Yep.
If he doesn't
We'll
do it, then
just do
we'll
it.
do it without him. Yeah.
For Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
Or that guy commented about Riv can't wait for you to do Revenge
Oh,
of
my
the
friend
Nerds.
Seamus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have him on too. He was a nice long compliment after the last Starfighter.
Oh,
He actually went and rented it, watched it, and then listened to our podcast. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
nice.
Yeah.
He's doing more than we've ever asked for any of our listeners to do. Don't pay to listen or watch the movies, my
I
God.
think he said the same thing. It was one of those movies that he remembered as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was like, it brought back a lot of memories, you
Yeah.
know?
That is a good
He gave it
movie.
a 70 or whatever, so roughly around what we gave
it
it,
was
basically.
good movie.
So,
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's Rex Harrison's in there, right?
No, Robert Preston.
Oh, Robert
is who you're
Preston.
thinking of, yes.
I'm thinking his character from Music Man.
Wow, nice.
Going way back. Okay, I'm going to tell everybody to catch us on Spreaker, download, rate, subscribe, do all those fun things. Let's spend the exciting and new. Download, rate, subscribe, do all those fun things. All our social is the exciting and new podcast on all our socials. Damn, I can't believe I messed this one up. Spend the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason. Glad to have you back, Ryan.
Yes.
Aegonzo1970 on Instagram, Aegonzo1 on Twitter. I am Andy, and I am in love with Brian.
Dana Caps on TikTok, Dana Caps 77 on Instagram.
Hello.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
Brian, come back anytime, please.
All right.
Always.
Come back always. Always.
Yes, always.